Okay, so once again, here are the answers. We're going over answers to page 44 through 48. And welcome back. Welcome, Lucia. Thanks for coming back. Just to remind you, you can click on the magnifying glass on the top left of your screen in order to zoom in and see this picture more clearly. This picture of the answers. Okay, so on the top left of your screen, zoom in. And here's the answers to page 44 through 48. Okay, so let's continue. We already talked about exercises 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's look at, I think we left on page 47. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Good. Page 47. So we're starting here with advantages. So if we say one advantage is being green, it just means environmentally friendly, does not pollute the environment. Advantage of nuclear power could also be clean, cheap, and unlimited. Okay. And then disadvantages: expensive, dangerous. We also mentioned there could be damage to the environment. Could be damage to the environment if the nuclear power plant explodes or leaks. That would be a disadvantage. Okay. And guys, just raise your hand if you have questions as I'm going through this. Okay, and let's go to exercise 4, page 48. This is our last page here. Okay, can one person turn on your microphone and summarize what Emma said? Can you report to me what Emma said about nuclear power? Turn on your microphone and report to me about what Emma said. Okay, Lucia, go ahead.
Emma mentioned that nuclear plants affect or could affect the food, like Japan, like the problem that had in Japan.
Right.
And also she mentioned that build nuclear plants near to the cities could be dangerous for people. What else?
Okay. So yeah, so we could say Emma was against using nuclear power because of the long-term effects on the environment and the expense.
The expense, yeah.
The expense. Okay. Thank you, Lucia. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about Jack. And I need another person to turn on your microphone and try to summarize for me what was Jack's opinion about using nuclear power. So, Alan, Carolina, or Lan, can you summarize what Jack said? Okay, wait, we can't hear you. Who's talking? Carolina, do you want to try?
Yes, teacher. I didn't did the number 4, but I did the number 5, so I know what he said. He said that it was cheap and it doesn't pollute the air
Yeah.
and it can supply a lot of electricity for a long.
Good. Okay, so Jack is in favor of, or we could say Jack was in favor of using nuclear power because he says it is safe and it doesn't pollute the environment and there's an unlimited supply and it's cheap. Okay, good. And then he also talked about helping those other countries that need to improve their economy. And it makes a country less dependent on oil and gas. Okay, good. These are all good reasons that Jack shared in his part of the audio. All right, and that leads us to exercise 5 on page 48. So number 1, we can circle A and C. Number 1 is A and C. Number 2, A, B, and D. There's 3 answers for number 2, A, B, and D. And number 3 is A and D. Okay, so raise your hand if you have any questions about this listening activity. And next, we're going to talk about counter arguments. Okay, so no questions, good. All right, so we are going to talk about giving a counter argument today in class. So let me take you guys to my PowerPoint, and then we'll get started with that. Okay, if you guys have taken a look at Blackboard in the last few days, you've probably seen that there is a practice speech coming up in actually next week. We're going to be doing a practice speech in class. And then if you're not able to join us in class, there's an option to record your speech next week, okay? Now, this speech that we're going to give in class is an argument speech. It's not the same thing as your lab assignment speech, okay? So there's 2 different speaking assignments next week. So the one I'm going to focus on today is the argument speech, because in this one, I'm not giving you as many choices and you have to follow a structure for your speech, okay? Remember your lab assignment, you get to choose anything you want to watch and talk about, any topic you want, something you like. But this speech that I'm talking about today has to be an argument speech, and it's going to be about one of the topics from chapter 2. So today we're going to talk about it, and you can begin thinking about what you want to do for this speech, okay? This one is not going to be for a grade. It's just a practice. So let's talk first about what an argument speech is. Has anybody heard of an argument speech, or maybe an argument paper, like a paragraph or essay? Anybody heard of this topic or this type of speech before?
Yes.
Okay, Alan, tell us what you think about it. What is it?
That's like when you're going to talk about one topic and
Yeah.
you're going to say specific things about it. I don't know, what's the name for that? Debate?
Yeah, like a debate. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so it's kind of like a debate. When we think of arguments, we might think of like a boyfriend and girlfriend fighting, or husband wife, or fighting with your kids. We think of fighting when we think of argument, but when we're talking about an academic, classroom setting, an argument just means when you have an opinion, you give a clear opinion about a topic that other people might disagree with. Okay. And it's kind of a way of practicing your ability to present your ideas and to support your ideas well. Okay. So that's what we're focusing on in this chapter. So let's look at an example of something that's not a good argument. If I say, well, this is my opinion, okay? So here's my argument, topic. I believe being nice to people is a good thing. That is not a good argument topic or opinion, because most people, 99.9% of people, are going to agree with you, right? Being nice to people is a good thing. That is something most people agree with. So it's not a topic that we want to use in an argument speech. Okay? So in an argument speech, we want to choose topics that maybe 50% of people might agree with you and 50% of people may disagree with you. Okay? Here's another example of one that is not a good argument. I believe convicted criminals should be punished. Most people believe this. If we were to ask in our classroom, who of you believe that if convicted criminals should be punished, most of us would say, yeah, they should be punished. They should go to jail, or they should have a fine, or they should do community service, something like that. So again, this is not a good argument topic because most people already agree with you. Okay? Any questions about that so far?
No, not me.
Okay. So
Teacher,
yeah,
can I add some question?
yes.
How do you think if I have the topic like industrial development impact on the environment?
Yes. Industrial development affects the environment.
Yep.
Okay, so your opinion, I would say you would have to change it a little bit. You'd have to say, we need to reduce industrial development because of its effects on the environment. So in your opinion, you're giving like a should, this is what I believe, or this is what I think should happen. So that would be a good argument topic. Okay, let me repeat it. You can say, I believe we should reduce industrial development because of its effects on the environment. Yeah, that's a good topic.
Yes.
The first way you said it, you said industrial development has effects on the environment. That is already proven to be true.
Yeah.
We already have a lot of evidence for that. So what we need to do is focus more on, hey, we need to stop, or we need to reduce. And then you'd have to give evidence why. That would be a good argument speech. Yeah. Even choose that one for next week if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question, Lon. Okay. If you have any more questions, let me know about, what an argument topic should look like. But look at this idea at the bottom here. This is a good argument speech idea from chapter 2. I believe more cities should use, you see that word should, that's showing you this is my opinion and I'm going to support my opinion and give you my argument. Okay, so I believe more cities should use solar energy to power homes instead of traditional sources. Now, some people in our city are going to agree with you, but some people are not going to agree. This is a good issue because maybe 30, 40, 50% of the population would agree with you, and maybe 30, 40, 50% will disagree with you, right? So that makes it a good topic. Okay, anybody else have a question about what good topics look like? Okay, we're doing good. So today I'm just giving you an idea again about what argument speeches look like. So how do you give an argument speech? You know, what are the steps? What does it look like? Well, if you guys can remember, there's 3 parts to a speech. Can anybody remember from chapter 1, we talked about the 3 parts of a speech on page 30. Page 30 of chapter 1. Let me ask, who's in our class? Lucia. Lucia, what are the 3 parts of a speech? Is she there or not there? Okay. Oh, she's not there? I can't see the blackboard screen. So, Carolina, can you tell us the 3 parts of speeches?
Yes, it's main idea, supporting details, and conclusion.
That's correct. So we still need to have these 3 parts: a main idea, supporting details, and a conclusion. Okay? So here's an example of what you need to include in a main idea of an argument speech. Okay? You're going to state your opinion clearly. This is very important for your speech. You need to have a sentence that starts with like, I believe that, or I think that. So here's an example. I believe that global warming is a real threat to our society. Now, some people think, yeah, okay, global warming is happening. You know, most people think, yeah, global warming is something that's happening in our world. But some people don't really believe that it's a big problem, and other people believe it is a big problem. So that would be a good topic. I believe that global warming is a real threat. Threat is like something that could cause damage or be difficult or hard on the society. Okay, so that's an example of a main idea that you need to have in your speech. Supporting details. This is where we add our support, why we believe what we believe. Okay, we have to give reasons why. And this is where we're going to insert what we call the counter argument. Okay, now let's use our book for a definition of a counter argument. Look at page 49. Okay, page 49, we're going to look at the top of the page for counter arguments. Okay, and Alan, can you read in the orange box? It says, in a debate.
Yes. In a debate or a discussion, speakers often use counter-arguments to argue against the opposing viewpoint. Speakers sometimes introduce a counter-argument with words or phrases like despite, that, or however.
Okay, good job. So we're going to practice using a counter argument in our practice speeches next week. So what does it mean when we say counter argument? Well, counter means against. So basically, when you have an argument, that means you have your opinion, and the counter argument means that's what the other people think. Okay, so when you're giving a speech with your argument, what you want to do is also mention what other people believe, and then you're going to go back and say why that's not good. Okay? So, for example, I believe that global warming is a real threat to our society. Okay? That's my argument. Now I'm going to say the counter argument. Some people say that global warming isn't a real issue. It isn't a problem because the atmosphere naturally warms up in cycles. Okay, that is a counter argument because that's what the other people believe, but it's not what I believe. Okay, so we say that because we want to show the listener that we understand what other people think, but then we come back and we support our own opinion. And it says, but if you think about it, things have only gotten warmer over the last 100 years. So if you guys, did you guys hear a counter argument in the nuclear speech? Let's think back to that with Emma and Jack. Did anybody remember hearing a counter argument with that? So maybe Emma would say, yeah, some people believe that nuclear power is really good for us in our environment, but it's really too risky because people could have accidents and there's health issues. So again, this is what a counter argument is. And what you guys are going to do for homework on page 49 is to listen to some examples of counter arguments. So look at page 50 in the orange box. Page 50 in the orange box, okay? It says, use counter arguments to make your point stronger. To make an effective counter argument, first show that you understand the opposing viewpoint. Okay, so you're showing that you understand the other people's opinion. Okay, so this is what we're going to include in our supporting details. And then we're going to give our reasons for our point or our argument, okay? We want to use signposts in our speech. So signposts can be like, first of all, also, in addition, or the word another. Signposts can also be counter-argument signposts, like however, okay? So however, and despite this, if you look over at page 52, we're going to practice these later, but you can see there's some words that will help you in your speech. Okay, these are signposts as well. We've got however, or despite that, although, but. Okay, so we're going to use some of those in our speech. And then the fourth thing that we need to have in our argument speech is a good conclusion. And I noticed you guys in your last lab assignment, some of you did not have a conclusion. So I want to work on this next week in our practice speech and also in your lab assignment speech. I want you to add a conclusion to each speech. So you're going to restate your opinion and the most important reasons that you gave in your argument. So for example, on the screen here, we were talking about global warming. I would say in conclusion, as you can see, global warming is a real problem because, and I can quickly list the reasons that I already gave. Okay, so I'm restating the main idea, but I'm kind of using some different words. I said is a real problem in the conclusion. In the main idea at the beginning, I said is a real threat. Okay, somebody turn on your microphone. What do you want to say? Any questions? Any comments? Okay, so we're going to practice. Let's practice doing this type of thing. Let's do a main idea sentence. Look at page 49 again. And these are possible topics for your practice speech. If you would like to use one of these, you can, okay? So right now in our class, just so we can practice, I want us to choose either number 2 or number 3. We cannot choose number 1 because number 1 is not an argument topic. But on the bottom of page 49, where it says discussion, I want you to look at number 2 and number 3. And under that, with a pencil, I want you to write a main idea sentence. A main idea. Just like I gave in the last slide, I gave a main idea sentence about global warming. I want you to pick number 2 or 3 and write one main idea sentence at the bottom of the page. Remember, you need to start with, I believe that. I believe that. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, and I just want you to write a main idea sentence. If you have a question or you don't know what to do, then turn on your microphone and let me know. Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute. We're just writing one sentence. That's a main idea sentence for the topic. Okay, guys, let's see what you have. Let's see what you've. I need 1 or 2 volunteers. Let me go back to my Blackboard screen so I can see. Go ahead and click on the raise your hand button if you would like to share your example of a main idea. Click on the raise your hand button. Okay, Alan. Alan, tell us which topic you chose and then tell us your sentence.
Okay.
Wait, Alan, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, now we can hear you. Go ahead.
I think that the best. I choose the number 3, and I think that the best form of energy is the solar energy. But I don't know if it was a shorter sentence.
No,
If I
I
need
like
to
your
specific.
example. Yeah, you can make it very short and simple. Or you can try to add more to it, like you can add the word because, or you can try to add a word like should or should not. Like you can just say, I believe solar energy is the best form of energy. Or you can make it a little different. You can say, I believe we should all be using solar energy to power our homes. That would be
Okay.
like a little bit different, but you can still use that one. Yeah, but you see, you're your opinion, and some people will disagree with you, right? Some people will think
Yes.
wind energy is better, or hydro, water, I don't know what they call it, water energy, or nuclear energy. So it's still a good topic to just say, I think that solar energy is the best form of energy. That's a really good main idea. Okay, good. And I need one more person. If you could raise your hand. Carolina, tell us which topic and tell us your main idea.
It's the number 2, and
Number 2, okay?
I believe that nuclear power is not a good energy solution because nuclear waste it takes years to degrade.
Hey, I like that. Um, I like your topic, but when you said because, and then you said it takes years to, I think you said um, decompose or degrade or clean up. You only gave us one reason, and we have to be careful in our main idea that we're not limiting it to just one reason, because that means your whole speech will only be about that one reason. So you could say, for number 2, we could say, I think that nuclear power is not a good energy solution because of 2 reasons. Or you could say because of 3 reasons. And then that would be a really good main idea sentence. Okay, good job. Here's another option for number 2. You can use the word should. I believe that nuclear power should be used more in our city, or maybe should not be used more. Okay, good job, class. Anybody else have something that you're confused about or you need to share? Let me know. Okay, so I hope you wrote down a couple of those examples that you heard, because you might want to use that topic in your speech next week. It will be an option for you. So page 49, discussion questions 2 or 3, those are both good options. Okay, who has their microphone on? Do you want to ask something? Nope. Okay, all is quiet. All right, let's go to this. Now, this is a practice activity where we can look at a counter argument and also some of these signal words and how to use them. So what this is, I took this from the cambridgelms.org website. And what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to read through these, and you can talk if you want to talk, like, hey guys, what do you think about number 2? But I'm going to turn my microphone off, and then you guys are going to discuss these together. Basically, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are parts of the supporting details of a speech. Okay, so in here you're going to see a counter argument and you're going to see support. And what you need to do is add into the blanks here, into these gray spaces, you're going to add, or you can write down which signal word should go into which blank. Okay? Does everybody know what we're doing? Does anybody have questions? Okay, let me go back to collaborate real quick. I'm going to turn on. Okay, so I'm going back to the screen, and you guys have 5 minutes to fill in the blanks together. Okay, you can turn on your microphone if you want to.
Do we need to do it like together? I didn't understand. No?
Yes, I think.
Well, I think number two is to begin with,
Yes, I think so too.
and well, number three, I think it's second because he's giving the second supporting detail.
Okay,
And
I
not this,
agree with you.
yeah, not I think.
Number 4, I think it's sum up.
Yes, I'm agree with sum up. And number five,
Do you guys know what is
uh,
overall?
overall is like when you're going to summarize something.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, I think I'm not pretty sure about it.
I
Okay,
think
thank
the
you,
number
teacher.
5, it's more.
Hmm. It also could be overall.
Yeah, I think it's
Mhm.
Okay, time's up. Let's see what you guys got. Let's see what you got here. Okay, first of all, who can tell me where the counter argument is? Is it in number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Where is the counter argument?
I think the number 1, teacher.
Yes, that's correct. Do you notice you also have that counter argument word, however?
However, yeah.
So this is the speaker's opinion is at the beginning. I think that bike paths are basically a good idea. And then they say the counter argument. However, I think that this idea of allowing cyclists and pedestrians to share the same path is crazy. So what they're doing is they're showing you, yes, the bike path is good to have, but not the bicycle riders and pedestrians who are people that walk on the sidewalk. We can't have them on the same path. That's not good. Okay, so we use that word however to show that we're contrasting between two ideas. Okay, bicycle paths are good, but putting the cyclists and pedestrians together on the path is not good. So that's a contrast word right there. So what did you guys put for number 2?
To begin with.
Yes, good. So to begin with is a way of signaling hey guys, I'm going to share my first reason, my first point, okay? So that is correct. Number 2 is to begin with. Okay, what about number 3?
Second and second.
Yes, good. Second, okay? And Carolina, what about number 4?
Mm, what's more?
Yes, that's a little phrase that can go together. What's more? It might sound strange to you, but it's a signal that we use in speeches, and it means the same thing as also or in addition. If you look on page 52 in your book, page 52 in the orange box, and it says to add another idea, and in that column we have what's more. So it's not a question, even though we're starting with what, we do not make this a question. Okay, so that's number 4. And let's see, Alan, what did you say for number 5?
Overall.
Yes, that's correct. Overall. Overall is a summary word. If you look on page 52 again, on the right side, you'll see to summarize the ideas, we can use overall. Okay, so we're looking good so far. Does anybody have questions so far about the structure of an argument speech? Like how to do a main idea, or, you know, what it looks like, that sort of thing. Any questions? Okay, so, wait, we're not ready for this yet. This is the homework. We still have a few minutes left, so we're not going to talk about homework yet. I want to go back to the whiteboard, and we are going to do page 50 and 51. Page 50 and 51, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the homework. So let's start with page 50. What we're going to do is kind of organize the information from the speech that Emma and Jack gave. And let's try to remember the counter arguments. Now, I have the speech here that I can let you listen to again if we need to. Some of you may have forgotten the counter arguments. So we're on page 50, and at the bottom of the page we have a chart. I want you to write down what you can remember about what Emma said that was for or against nuclear power, and what her arguments were. What were her reasons? And Jack, what Jack said that was for power, and what his arguments were. So let's do the first part together so we can see what we're doing. For Emma, she was against nuclear power. So in the first box, we want to write against nuclear power. The first box on the top left where it says Emma, against nuclear power. And then under arguments, we want to put, what did she say? Let me see. Accidents. Accidents could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Accidents could cause health problems. Okay. Any questions about what we're doing right now? Okay. So that's your first and second box on page 50. Go ahead and fill in the rest and see if you can remember the counter argument.
The counter argument is doesn't pollution the air, pollute the air.
Okay, yeah. So she said, you know, some people think that nuclear power doesn't pollute the air, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. That would be the counter argument for Emma. Okay, let's do Jack together. What do we put in the first box for Jack? Who can tell me? Okay, go ahead.
For nuclear power.
Yes, good. Lon, you've got these. I think you listened to this a lot, right?
Yes.
You almost memorized it. So for Jack, we can say 4 using nuclear power or just for nuclear power. And okay, Lan, you already answered one. Let's see if we can get another person to tell us one of the arguments.
Jack says that, let me check his, nuclear power is the most environmentally friendly and the most sustainable source of energy.
Yeah. Okay, so it's sustainable energy. It's
Yes.
clean, it's cheap.
Friendly with the environmental.
Yeah, environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
And he gave a lot of points, but we can put 1 or 2 there. That's okay. Does anybody remember what Jack's counter argument was?
That is cheaper.
But
No.
that wouldn't be a counter argument. Counter argument would mean he mentioned something that Emma believes. Did we forget that part? Why don't we go back? Yeah, go ahead.
Emma believe that building the plant pollute the air.
Okay, is that what you?
Building, yeah.
Okay, I have an idea. Let me go to this speech real quickly and let's see if we can hear it together.
Welcome to today's debate.
Can you guys hear that?
Yes. I hear it.
Everybody? Okay, good. Let's see if we can hear Jack's counter argument.
I'm not sure about that. I think that building nuclear power plants is the perfect solution for many poorer countries. Yes, it might be expensive to build the plant, but once the nuclear plant is there, the cost of the production of energy is very low.
Okay, did y'all hear that? That was the counter argument. So he agreed with the other side. Yes, it might be expensive. Okay, but, and then he mentioned the cost. What did he say about the cost? Let me go back a little bit more.
More affordable for most countries, for poor or developing countries.
On oil and gas.
Oh, yeah.
The country can sell the electricity to its neighbors and improve its economy. It's a long-term solution.
Okay, so he said, yes, it might be expensive to build it, but the long-term effects. So that's what we call a counter argument. When he mentions the other person's viewpoint, yeah, yes, it must be, it could be expensive, or it might be expensive to build it, But then he mentions again, he goes back to his own point. The long-term effects of having nuclear power are better. It's worth it because you can save money by not using oil and gas. Okay. Any questions about this? Is anybody lost or confused? Okay, so here we are, class. What we're going to do for the last, we've got about maybe 10 to 15 minutes left. I'm going to put you in a group, and I want you guys in your group to do the top of page 51. Look at the top of page 51. This is another topic that you could use in your speech next week. But what we're going to do is go through the steps of how do we prepare for a speech, an argument speech, okay? So this topic is arguing for or against building a new shopping mall in your city. It's arguing for or against building a new shopping mall in your city. So what you're going to do is start by listing advantages. You're listing advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of a shopping mall. What if we built a brand new shopping mall in your city? What would be one or two advantages? You're going to write those down with your partner. And then on the right side, if you built a brand new shopping mall in your city, what would be some of the disadvantages? So I want you to focus on the economy, the environment, traffic, the jobs, anything you can think of, and I want you to put it into a category with your partner, okay? I'll give you about 5 minutes. It shouldn't take too long, but if you finish that quickly, you can start doing the bottom of page 51, and you're going to give you're going to do like Emma and Jack. So one side or one part would be for using a shopping mall, and then a second part would be against a shopping mall, and writing some arguments and counter arguments for both. Okay, I don't expect you to finish the whole page today, but in 5 or 10 minutes, I want you to finish the top part of page 51. Okay, are there any questions about what we're doing?
No, teacher.
Okay, so let's get you guys in the groups. Group 1 is going to be Lan and Lucia. If you need to, you can get the whiteboard and you can type your answers if it helps you to communicate. So group 1 is Lan and Lucia. Group 2 is Alan and Carolina. Okay, you guys have 5 minutes, so I'll see you in a few minutes. And for my video watching students, I'm taking you back to the homework since you guys don't have a group to work in. But here is your homework. If you remember, we have a lab assignment that's due on October 2nd. That is next Friday. So you can begin thinking about what you want to do for that. You can choose any video. And your listening challenge is due this Friday. Listen to 10 or 20 minutes of a news report and write down any counter-argument sentences that you hear or any modals of future that you hear, like may, might, could. Okay, thank you, group. If you have any questions, you can email me.